David, good to see you.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
I just want to start with, before we get into the COVID relief bill and how much of it actually has to do with COVID relief, let's talk about where we are with the pandemic and the public health guidance. The czar of COVID, which is probably what we should call him, Dr. Fauci. Here he is on where things actually stand, even for the vaccinated.
We are still at an unacceptably high baseline level, with the 7-day average being quite high. So there are things, even if you're vaccinated, that you're not going to be able to do in society. For example, indoor dining, theaters, places where people congregate. That's because of the safety of society.
You can't do indoor dining even when everybody's vaccinated? I'm just wondering, I mean, how much more stupid, crazy stuff does he get to say before people realize what's really going on here?
Well, it's insanity, first of all, to say that to people who are vaccinated, but we already have indoor dining in most places, don't we? I mean, in most of the country. So I'm not sure what he's talking about. Maybe he doesn't know that. Maybe he wants us to lock down further and take a step back. We don't know, because he's constantly making up things, because he acts like a nanny stater who wants to coax us into better behavior. And I love how he uses the word can't, the things we can't do, as if he's in charge of what we can and cannot do. He acts that way. And that's why the other day he said he wished that there was a more centralized control over the country and that states didn't have so much say, basically, in their own pandemic responses, because he wants to control what we do.
I feel like he's been in control. One thing that doesn't seem to get through, certainly with the corporate media, is that we have been following the path as a nation. We've been following the path of Fauciism here for a year. We're a year into this now. And this guy gets to turn around and say, yeah, America's had a really bad response to this, one of the worst in the world. I look at this and say, okay, well, he's like the general of the army here. And if you're losing a war that badly, the general's supposed to resign.
Well, it's objectively false that we're the worst reaction. Now, this is something that a lot of people on the left like to say, because they're pessimistic about America and they want to constantly demean our response to anything that we do. But I don't know. I agree with you. In general, there was a lot of Fauciism, but I'm not sure that that's the case in Florida and other places where people were, I think, opening up faster than certainly he would have liked. And those places probably outperformed the places that he praised. He praised New York. He said right. Cuomo had done a better job than anyone.
A better way to describe, a better way for me to have said it would be, there was a lot of Fauciism in New York, in New Jersey, in California, in Maryland, and you look at these states with terrible outcomes. And Fauci was saying, look, they're doing it the right way, and they kept doing it the way he told them. And they had nightmarish COVID spikes all throughout the winter, and worse outcomes than Florida, as you point out. So I'm hoping we can start to have an honest conversation about this as a country, but that's asking for way too much.